Hello my queens, welcome back to another video. I'm about to go out to the pool, but I wanted to just intro this week's video, which is going to be a week of reading my TBR from June. Here's what I'm working with so far. And also let's include Long Shot in here. Books from June TBR include Long Shot, The Housemaid's Secret, Green Dot, not this book, Jane Eyre, The Do-Over, and The Ministry of Time. I finished The Ministry of Time, and then I started Long Shot last night. I'm gonna try to get through as many of these books as I can in the next week. I'm hoping for like 3 of the 5. Like I said, I started Long Shot last night. I'm a little bit nervous because so many of you guys are like anticipating me reading it, but then also anticipating my reaction to it, which is making me scared. The trigger warnings are scary also. Yeah, I don't know what I'm gonna think of it so far. I think I made it to like page 70 last night, and I'm gonna keep reading today. The writing is very easy, like I'm flying through it. The like whole beginning, like 50 pages, is basically just dialogue between her and one of the male characters. At first I was like, okay, it's kind of cheesy, like it's a little bit cheesy, and then as I kept reading I was like, okay, it's getting less and less cheesy the more I read it. Romance is sometimes hard for me because it's hard for it to not feel like super corny and cheesy, but anyway, I'm liking it so far for what it is. I'm scared for what is to come though, because I have a feeling, I mean, in the author's note, like as the trigger warning, it says it gets like very descriptive. Yeah, we'll have to see how I react to that. I actually downloaded it on my Kindle last night. Also look at, hopefully this doesn't get taken down, but how cute is this bathing suit? I got it from Target. Can you believe that? I will link it down below because I had filmed like a Target swim haul and I was like, I can't post this. Like I was like, I just look way too good. Like I literally can't post this. The thing I will say is this is the cover. This is embarrassing. Who is this? Also, I was confused because Kennedy Ryan is a Black author, so I was like, why is the man on the front white? But then I started reading and I was like, okay, I get it. I still don't like this at all. Like I wish we could do the paperback cover on the Kindle because this is crazy. You guys like ASMR tapping? I kind of like it. Can't get over this. I got sunburnt. I don't think I've ever in my life gotten sunburnt on my body, but I don't know if you can tell. Yeah, okay, no, you can definitely tell. It's literally splotchy. I'm so confused. Well, I'm partially confused, partially not confused at all. I used the sunscreen, and when I sprayed, like, look how it sprays. It doesn't spray like this sprays. This sprays just, you know what I mean? I did it, I forgot to rub it in, and then I got sunburnt, which is, I can't believe I got sunburnt. I like have not gotten sunburnt ever. And like only on my face before, but like this is crazy. But I think it's spotty. It's not peeling, but I think it's spotty because of how the spray landed. So I mean, I guess, you know, it does work. We just gotta rub it in. There it is. Okay, a little update on Long Shot. I'm on page 283, chapter 36 of, I think there's 450 pages on this. I really hope I could finish this today. These are huge books, but honestly, they don't take very long to get through at all. But I'm so conflicted on this book. When I first started it, like the first 5 chapters, I was like, oh, I'm not gonna like this book. I'm gonna have to rate it 2 stars and you guys are gonna hate me. Because I think I feel like I am being pressured into liking this book a lot. That's just the feeling I'm getting, especially like on Instagram and stuff. There's definitely pressure to support Kennedy Ryan. I just want you guys to know I feel it. I feel the pressure, but at the end of the day, reading is subjective and I think that's the beauty of reading. But I'm happy to report that although I feel like the writing is very immature feeling, that was initially what put me off, because I was like, I just feel like this is too mature with a really heavy subject matter because there's a lot of abuse in this book that's happening. Our main character is dating an NBA player and he is very, very, very abusive. And she goes into detail, heavy detail on the abuse that's happening. I was shocked, okay? Very shocked. And I was like, the writing feels so immature, but yet there's such heavy topics. But I think that there is something really special about that because she later goes on to say that no victim blaming, of course. There can be an emphasis on a type of behavior and decision making that leads to being in a relationship with someone who is abusive that already had red flags. Not talking about the people who are are wined and dined by a person, and then once they get locked in, then they start being abusive. We're talking about people that were already showing red flags and you ignore them, and because of your decision to ignore them, you end up abused or in a bad situation, whatever. I was like, okay, wait, this actually makes a lot of sense, because the age demographic that this would probably be appealing to would be younger girls, and this message is very important for younger girls. Obviously older women too, but I think maybe older women probably already know this. That's why I was like, okay, I do understand. Very simple language, very like, I don't want to say like, I guess, yeah, I do want to say immature language. Like I took a picture. On one page you can count how many I statements there are. This book is just very like, I did this, I was feeling this way, and then I did this, and I was like, I feel like I'm going crazy with how many I statements there are on the page. Like the writing is not poetic at all, really. And I'm actually glad it's not super poetic, because then I don't think it would appeal to a younger audience. For those reasons, I'm back in. It's a hard book to like say that you like though, because it's so graphic, but I will say so far I support this book. I don't even know if I would say like, oh my gosh, I love this book so much, like I was just eating up. It's almost the same feeling you can get if you watch true crime and being like, oh my gosh, it's so entertaining. Like, whoa, what do you mean it's so entertaining? Like, you're getting entertainment off of a really sad, tragic thing that happened for somebody in real life. So that's where it's hard to be like, oh my gosh, I was eating this book up. You know what I mean? Like, that's just not the vibe of this one. This one is more so, I support Kennedy Ryan's message, and I support girls reading this book for awareness purposes. Because Kennedy Ryan like actually interviewed women who have been in this exact circumstance. So these are like real people's stories woven into like a fictional novel. I think it's like a really important message to share, especially as you guys know, I grew up in an abusive household, and some of these stories actually happen. I was talking to Kaylin, I was like, it's also interesting how abusers will almost like follow a pattern. Kennedy Ryan interviewed multiple women, so if she's pulling from their stories, plus I have my own story, and I'm sure if I went on Reddit and looked at everybody else's experience with this, they would say like, oh yeah, same thing happened to me, same thing happened to me. I need to shut up now. Those are my thoughts so far, and I'm hoping to finish it soon. We had to come for a little swim because it just feels so good outside.
Haggett pushed me underwater.
I'm currently on to the epilogue of Long Shot, so I'm almost done. And I cannot wait to be done because I'm really in the mood for like a thriller mystery after this, so I'm excited to be done. I probably only have like 20 pages left, so while we're out here, I'm gonna try to finish. I just finished Long Shot by Kennedy Ryan. I always have to give my thoughts at the end because sometimes I don't have like, if you just finish it, you kind of have to sit on it for a little bit. It was a lot, the book was a lot. So anyway, I'm gonna sit on it for a second. And in the meantime, I'm gonna start The Housemaid's Secret. Motherhood is making your kids play mermaids with you. Oh no. I think I'm turning into a shark! Started The Housemaid's Secret yesterday, and I got to page 123, chapter 27. The chapters are literally like 3 to 4 pages. I think there's like 70 chapters in here or something. And I feel like I'm liking this one so far more than the original Housemaid. I like this premise. It's still like housemaid centered. I'm like, duh, of course it's gonna be still a housemaid because it's literally called The Housemaid's Secret. Okay, anyway, look at the amount of bookmarks that I have. I did like a bookmark tour on TikTok. I got some new ones from Ali Rose Co. and they're so cute. Like, come freaking on. I think it would be so fun to design my own bookmarks. Lately, I've been loving matching my bookmarks to my book. I feel like I kind of have to do this red one, right? This red striped one is like what I had in my head. That's cute. We're at page 122 and she's like, he will never find her. With all the rest of this book, I know he finds her. I know he does. He will find spare parts to fix the train. Don't lose it, reuse it, he shouts. Like a pop-tacular team. The end. Did you like that? You want me to read it regular? rider gets a call that a train is stuck on the tracks. One thing I will say about, oh, it looks terrifying, but that's one thing I will say about reading in front of your kids is then they start to read more too. They will bring their books to you to read to them. Surprise, surprise, we're back outside and we've officially made it to time in summer where it's just not even possible to come outside to watch them swim and not get in yourself because it's like, it's just so hot. To put on my sunscreen. I love this sunscreen because it's not greasy. Oh my goodness, I'm so hot though. Okay, I'm gonna dive in and then sit on the floaty and read The Housemaid's Secret. It's perfect. This is just like very, I think I like this little life vibes. Their little dinner outside. It's so good. It's just summer. My queens, I finished The Housemaid's Secret. I really like this. I think I almost like this one more than The Housemaid. And I am so happy that I have a great thriller mystery to recommend to you guys. It was so good. I literally read this in 24 hours. Nearly in one sitting. Like, it was kind of chopped up in 24 hours in a day I read this. I do have children, so it's kind of hard to finish any book in just like one sitting because I never get that amount of time like uninterrupted. I would probably rate this 4 stars. I still haven't talked about Longshot. I feel like I'm still kind of sitting on my thoughts. So I think at the end of the video, we'll talk about Longshot. Then I started The Do-Over. Obviously, this was another book that was on my June TBR that I never got to. Actually, kind of shocked at how far I am in this. I made it to page 182 last night. I started this yesterday. I started this yesterday and I made it to page 182. That's crazy. I have 100 pages left, so like an hour and a half more of reading. I really like it so far. This is young adult romance. I don't know, because I normally like young adult like mystery thrillers, and I liked Check and Mate by Ali Hazelwood, which is also YA. I felt like Check and Mate by Ali Hazelwood needed to be actually in the adult romance section, not YA. Like, change the cover, make this an adult romance, because there was a lot of stuff in here I would not think a young girl should read. This is very obviously written for young girls. Kind of hard a little bit for me to read. It's kind of a little bit hard. I love how simple it is. I mean, the fact that I've gotten through it so quickly without even really realizing just goes to show you how simple the writing is. Not simple, it's not bad. I actually like the simple writing. The writing is good. I think that the dialogue between the two main characters is a little bit, not even cringy, it's just immature, which obviously it's supposed to be. It's a me problem. But I also find in a way it's a little bit nostalgic. I think it's all about the way that I imagine the characters. If I imagine like me when I was in junior high and like I had a crush on a boy and how I talked to boys and how boys talk to me and the things that you would do to get that person's attention, then I'm like, okay, this is actually really cute because I remember doing those same exact things. So Lynn Painter, I think she hit the nail on the head where we just do really silly, cringy things in order to get somebody like the boy we have a crush on attention. So I don't know, I'm having this like kind of disconnect where I'm like, it's not an adult romance, it's not an adult romance, it's not an adult romance. Literally, they're 16. It's giving 3-star vibes. If I was in junior high reading this, I would be eating it up. I would like be so obsessed with it. So it's good. It's also no spice. I mean, I have 100 pages left, but so far no spice, like maybe a few kisses. And I would definitely, if I had a 15-year-old daughter, I would definitely let her read it. Like, that's how clean it is. There is some cussing, which that doesn't really bother me, but yeah, those are my thoughts so far on this. I read like 30 more pages after I did that last clip. Now we are outside and I'm gonna float around in my little floaty and read a little bit more on my Kindle. Another nice thing about the Kindle is that it's waterproof. At least this. I don't know if all versions are, if it's just the signature edition, but it's waterproof, so that's really nice. I don't know if I missed the part, but there's some parts where she calls him Josh, and then there's other parts where she calls him Sutton. And I'm so confused. Are Josh and Sutton like interchangeable names? You know, like Robert also like Bob or something, you know what I mean? I'm so confused. Why is it Josh sometimes and Sutton other times? Maybe I missed it. But I'm so confused by that. Okay, let's see if I can wrap this video up by the time before the sun goes down. We read 3 books in today's video. Long Shot, The Housemaid, and I just finished Do Over. If you guys like have reading goals that you're trying to finish quickly, I read both of these books in one day. So slay. Very easy reads, but also pretty good. Like not just fluffy wasted time, like, oh, I'm just reading this for a reading goal, but like I am actually getting some enjoyment out of it. Obviously we have to talk about Long Shot. This book had me and Kaylin talking in the car for hours because a lot of the abuse in here I've actually witnessed firsthand. It had me questioning my entire childhood for sure. I loved how she showed the dichotomy between the daughters who recognized their mother's wrongs and completely decided to go in a different direction. Like they were like, no, we need to heal from this. We need to change our actions. We need to like change something about how our families have been, how our mothers raised us. While their mothers were just basically like, no, y'all are ungrateful. Y'all are just snobby and wrong. And you think because you got a man, you're better than us. And like they just kind of go on their own way. They refuse to apologize. They refuse to acknowledge how they kind of ruined their daughters' lives by what they taught their daughters to be okay with in a relationship. And then those daughters had to get in relationships or be in really bad circumstances to understand like, wait, this is actually really bad and I can't believe like mom is okay with being treated this way. It's very bizarre. I also loved that she did give the victims responsibility for their actions, but not in a victim blaming way. Like, of course, the abuser is always at fault. The fact of the matter is, Iris did admit that she saw many red flags in Caleb before it actually got to the really abusive parts. He was already not a great guy and she ignored it and was like, it'll be fine. This is a little bit of a spoiler. So if you've read it, then keep listening. But if you don't care about a spoiler, I feel like it's a pretty minor spoiler. Anyway, Iris ends up pregnant by him, which again, as we know, is a huge thing that always happens. And then you feel like, well, I need to stay with him because now I have a baby with him. And I feel like Kennedy Ryan was like, no, you don't need to stay with him if he's abusive. But on the flip side, if you're with a man who has power, it's important to, 1, clock the red flags early, be careful. And if you do end up in a relationship having a baby by somebody who is powerful, she also shows how difficult it is to leave in that situation because that's how you get, you know, it's a very intricate and detailed circumstance to be in because I feel like although a lot of abusers kind of follow the same pattern, it can be different depending on who we're talking about. I know so many women who are in abusive relationships. I think the ultimate ending is like, get out while you still can. Recognize, take responsibility for your decisions early on. If you see red flags, assume that he is going to continue that behavior, not change once you have a baby or once you get married or anything like that. It's also just crazy how many men are abusive. Like that, it's like wild to me. I know so many abusive men. I know so many women who are being abused, have been abused. It's terrifying, and I feel like this book did a great job. So I would give this 5 stars. It's kind of a hard book to rate because I'm mostly rating it a 5 stars because I think the message is important. And if somebody goes on Goodreads and they're like, oh, should I read it? I don't want them to be discouraged because they see like lower ratings. Even though this is kind of a hard book to read, but it's a necessary book, you know, so 5 stars for this one. Housemaid's Secret, I would rate 4 stars. I really can't say anything about this because with mystery and thriller, I feel like any little thing you say gives away so much, and the only point of reading a mystery thriller is because it's a mystery. You don't know what's gonna happen. I also feel like mystery and thrillers, like people don't reread them because once you already know what's gonna happen, it's not thrilling. And then The Do-Over. I think that my experience with it was a 3-star read, but I think that if you are the demographic for this book, it would be a 4 or 5-star read for you for sure. I can totally see that. I think the ending was really sweet, but it was just, I think, too young for me. The cover is so pretty though. I really love the cover. And I am excited to read this one better than the movies because I heard this is like rom-com, and there's a quote from a rom-com at the beginning of every chapter. And then at the beginning of every chapter in this book, there's like a confession that she gives. And I thought that was really cute. Like things that you did as a teenager that your parents still don't know about to this day. Like, I have so many of those like little confessions that I've just never told my parents. But anyway, it's really cute. It's really cute. But if you want to read it, just go into it knowing that it's a little bit, the writing is very simple and it's for a 15, 16-year-old girl. But it was still really great. So I'd rate this like 4 stars. I don't know, do you guys understand what I mean by like my experience with it was this, but the book was actually this? I feel bad rating books lower when it was just like, it's not a bad book, it's just my reading experience. I feel like that all goes into my rating in my mind. The writing is great, the story is great, there's no plot holes, the romance is great, like everything is very, very sweet and wholesome, but just my experience with it was a 3. So anyway, I'm gonna stop saying the same thing over and over again. Thank you so much. That's the end of today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and let me know if you guys have read any of these books or if you're gonna pick any of them up now. And if you have any thoughts about Longshot, please comment them down below because I'm like dying to discuss this with somebody. I'm actually gonna head to the book club right now because I like need to know what everyone thought about it. So anyway, thanks so much for watching and I'll see you guys in the next one.